Minecraft 1.21.9 just came out, and let's go over all the features. And welcome to Minecraft's Copper Age. So yeah, it's mostly just a lot of copper updates with the copper golem, some shelves, the copper decoration blocks we have, copper tools, and copper armor. We'll discuss it all as we go through today's update. Starting with the copper armor itself. This thing looks amazing, and I love it. As far as like durability and stuff goes, it is worse than iron, but better than leather. Along with that, the copper armor also has less enchantability than iron armor. So yeah, the iron is better to enchant if I'm understanding that correctly. Also goes without stating, it is a lot more durable than gold. And moving on in the same realm of copper iron, you also now got your brand new tool set of copper. So you got your copper sword, you got your copper pickaxe, you got your copper axe, you got your copper shovel, and a copper hoe. Which the weapons in this, so the sword and the axe, do the same damage as stone tools, but they have higher durability. And then as far as tools go, so the pickaxe, axe, shovel, and hoe, well, more so like these three because you dig with them more, unless you're doing leaves with the hoe. But either way, they work faster and again have more durability than stone. And they have a higher enchantability than diamond, but less than iron. So yeah, these are the perfect middle ground between stone and iron tools because, you know, you get a lot of copper when you start your game compared to iron. So, you know, copper tools, really great medium there. And then the final thing, when it comes to crafting recipes for all the armor and tools, it is the same as any other kind of armor tool thing. You just take copper ingots and you craft it like you would anything else. And moving on, the next thing we have are the decoration blocks, which I always go into this chest, and I think it's something else to say. Whenever you smelt the copper armor or the copper tools, you will get yourself copper nuggets like you do with iron or gold. And yes, copper nuggets are new. We'll get into those here in a second. But moving on, we have a couple new decoration blocks for the copper tools or copper block set. You got chains, you got lanterns, which hold up. Got the lanterns that are now fixed because my 3D lantern pack that I have does not work with them yet. Moving on, you also got copper torches and you got copper bars. These three, actually, they all function like their iron variants, and then this one like the regular torch variant. The biggest difference being they all are able to oxidize because they're made of copper. And if you were to go to craft any of these, for the copper torch, you'll need a stick, coal or charcoal, and then a copper nugget, which I would like to point out is different from the soul torch, which requires the soul sand or soul soil to be on the bottom rather than the top. For the copper lantern, you go ahead and do a copper torch surrounded by copper nuggets. And for the copper chains, you do copper nuggets with a copper ingot in the center, which is effectively the same crafting recipe as the chain, which is now renamed to the iron chain. And for the copper bars, you just take 6 copper ingots like you would iron ingots. So that gives us the 4 new decoration blocks made out of copper. Yes, I installed a 3D chain and lantern texture pack because I realized, oh, I need these chests. Had the white thing. I need the dark background. I'm too used to it. Oh, 2 other things about decorations and also the copper nugget. When it comes to the lightning rod and the trapdoor, they have had some minor change. The lightning rod can now oxidize, which makes sense. It's made out of copper. So this will oxidize whenever it gets hit by lightning. It'll deoxidize, whatever it's called. And for our copper trapdoor, its recipe changed from needing 6 to just needing 4 pieces of copper ingot. And now you only get 1 trapdoor rather than the 2 you did before, matching what the iron trapdoor does. And I feel like it kind of goes without saying, to get copper nuggets, you just need to go ahead and take an ingot and turn it into nuggets. Again, just like the regular gold ingots or the iron ingots. Okay, moving on, we will now talk about the new shelves. And these are just a really cool decoration block, and there's so much you can do with them. And no, you don't need to place them on the ground. You can place them on walls like item frames. And dude, these things are so cool. I'm so glad that we actually have a good looking item frame block. Yeah, I can see these being used really good for some decoration. Oh, actually, I have an idea. That idea requires jungle. And how you craft the shelves is you take any strip, log, or stem, if we're talking about the crimson and warp stems from the nether, and you just put them in the crafting table, 3 there, 3 there, and you get 6 shelves. Okay, let's see. Will this look good? Only time will tell. If I do that, honestly, I kind of like it. So the shelf by itself lets you place items in it, so that way you can just have a nice little storage area for your items. And it just displays them like nicely. I love this. And of course, just to put them in and take them out, you just right click the item into there or right click it out. But if you wanted to, something you can do is power the shelves. As you see the little bars in between, these things do go away when you turn on a redstone power connected to the shelf. And now when I right click this, it gives me my hotbar full of items. And if I right click it back, there we go. And let's say I do it over here, it's just whatever is from the block into the left, or to the right, I mean. So yeah, wherever there's this divider gives you the hotbar swapping area. So, you know, that's a really cool feature. Something I do want to know though, if I destroy, oh wait, hold up. Let me turn Okay, well, let's do this. If I destroy this, will it make this side part of the section? I'm just very curious. Okay, so it doesn't right away, but let's say I do that and redo that. Now it becomes part of it. Good to know for future reference. It's also worth mentioning, when this is turned on, you cannot place anything into the shelves. I'm just now figuring this out. So yeah, that is everything about the shelves. Now on to the big thing in this update, and that's the fact that you can wax all of this stuff. Like, that's the big thing in the update. I mean, I really don't know what else you guys expected. It's almost like you guys think there's a new mob or something in the game. I'm joking. There is a new mob, clearly. That's the whole reason this update was made. The Copper Golem. So yeah, the Copper Golem is spawned in with a copper block and a pumpkin or a jack-o'-lantern, or a carved pumpkin rather. And what this sucker likes to do, one, you can wax it if you want to keep it at this stage. Same thing for the chest. You can also wax those if you crouch. But let's say I put in the torches inside of the copper chest. What this thing will do is go in here, and it can take 16 torches or 16 items at a time, and it'll bring it over and put it into a chest. The first thing it'll do is see if it can find the same item inside of a chest, and then sort them out like that. So let's say we got this chest with honey. Let's go and put, or no, that chest with torches. Let's put honey inside of here. Let's put the polished tough stairs inside of there, and then the coal inside of this one. So we'll go through and chuck all these into the copper chest for him to sort, and we'll see how well it works. I've had issues with him trying to sort things in the past. So he takes the torches. We know where he's going to put those. So let's go ahead and put the honeycombs to the front and see where he puts those. I'm curious to see if he puts it in the right chest. Okay, he took the honeycomb. Does he just put it in that chest blindly? He does not. He put it inside the correct chest. Thank gosh. I thought he was about to done goo. So let's take the honeycomb, put the coal up front. There we go. Let's see what he does. I just want to make sure he's working fully, because like I said, I've had issues with him in the past where he does not work. Okay, and then he moves on to the chest that actually has the coal in it. Dude, I love the Copper Golem. So yeah, we got an automatic storage system that is easier than any form of redstone that you can possibly think of. Oh my gosh, I just now found this out. He can look up and do a chest that's 2 blocks tall. Okay, hold on. We're going to have to test something. So he can look up and put stuff. Oh my gosh, that actually makes him very viable for this storage system. I thought he was not going to be. Wow, this just made my day. So I'm curious to see how he does with a 4-block thing, because he can see chests up to 8 blocks high and then 32 blocks long. So can he? No, he cannot. But if we were to build him a little platform like that, he'll go ahead, look in those chests, and then theoretically, he should go up the stairs just like that. And yeah, that gives him plenty of room to go ahead, sort through these two, and then sort through those two. So he's going to look in these 2 chests, and he looks into a total of 10 chests or copper chests in a sequence, idles for 7 seconds if he can't find a thing, and then keep searching again. But yeah, there we go. That is the Copper Golem in a nutshell. Definitely going to need to utilize him in this storage area. With that said, I think it's appropriate to build a new storage room. We're in a new update. I think I should, and make it more copper centric, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. Now there are a couple things in this update that I can't really show you on here, so let's head over to a creative world quick. The few things that I'm not able to talk about just because I don't have the time to wait in survival is, one, the copper golem spawn egg, and also the copper horse armor, because I'm not looking for that right now. But for the copper spawn egg, you do not get a copper chest from the copper golem spawn egg, like you do when you spawn one in with a copper block in a pumpkin, and that is just because I honestly don't know why. I just know you don't get the chest. With that said, you can also craft the chest, the copper chest with a regular chest, and then copper ingots around that. And once these guys oxidize, which is worth noting, is not affected by random tick speed. Like, this is fully oxidized, and I just set the tick speed to like 5,000, and these guys are not oxidizing. But when they do fully oxidize, you will get copper golem statues, which these things are amazing. Yeah, copper golem statues, and when you right click them, they change poses, and they have 4 different poses, each of which give off its own redstone signal. So the regular standing pose gives you a signal of 1, the sitting pose gives you a signal of 2, the walking pose gives you a signal of 3, and the celebratory pose gives you a signal of 4. No, these don't have a crafting recipe, although I feel like they should. With that said, if you want to deoxidize them, you just gotta right click them like you do any other copper block, And then once it gets to this stage, if you deoxidize it one more time, it turns back into a copper golem. So yeah, I'm definitely going to just get a couple copper golems in survival just to turn them into statues, and we'll just look at the dead, empty husk of the copper golem. I had to turn my shaders off to see if we can see it, but there's also a new end light flash thing that you can see occasionally in the end. I don't know the specifics of it, but it will be like a purple flash in the dimension, which I think that's the flash. You can only see it when the dragon is killed. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but yeah, no, you'll see the flash and then there'll be a sign or a sound that plays with it. Again, had to turn off the shaders to see it. I just heard the sound. Yeah, there's the flash. It's really cool. I'm curious what the implications of are it for like future updates. I'm sure it's something to do with like vibrant visuals, but can we get an end update, please? I was hoping that the Mountains of Mayhem would be an end update, but you know what? It's not. That's a video for another day. But hey, the ends got some new atmospheric stuff with that end flash. I think it's pretty cool. There's also a whole slew of like technical changes with like the sound slider bar now playing sounds whenever you're adjusting the volume, and that's mainly on the menu screen, not in world. But you know, like I said, there's a whole slew of accessibility and technical changes. Feel free to go check out the changelog in the description below for all that. With that said, what do you think of the Copper Age? I personally think it's one of the best updates we've had this year. With that said, Mountains of Mayhem is coming in December. I'm assuming December. So who knows? Maybe my opinion will change. With that said, go leave a like, go comment, go subscribe if you haven't yet. Trying to hit 5,000 by the end of the year. And with that said, have a nice day.